Hey, what's going on? Got a little bit of a late start today, but we are here. We are live. This is Ed Reiner with your daily dose of mind stuff. I want to welcome you. So today, if you're new here, daily dose of mind stuff is basically all personal development, professional development, all the stuff that helps us achieve our goals, helps us to go after the things we want. It's all about the mind. Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind. And taking with the mind, a tool of thought, shapes his will, brings forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. That's from As a Man Thinketh. I don't just kind of, when I said mind, it kind of just rolled into that. Anyway, this is the mind stuff. This is all the stuff that we use for our personal development. Claude Bristol in The Magic of Believing coined that in there, and I always thought it was cool. So anyways, it's the stuff that I study on a daily basis, and I take you along on my journey as a Procter Gallagher consultant and as someone that's going after some big goals myself. So today we are going into Earl Nightingale, and let me just bring this up for a second. Whoops. And I'll share my screen, and it's going to be a short one, but it's going to be good. So I will be back in just a few minutes. Enjoy.
Let me give you a little known fact today that will increase your effectiveness in anything you do. It applies to doing a job, making more money, playing golf, cooking, raising children, teaching, anything at all. Now, while this has long been known by the most successful people of the world, it seems to have escaped the great majority. Whatever it is that you would like to do better, act as though you're a top-flight expert at it. And if you continue to play this part long enough, you will become an expert. When Arnold Palmer was 10 years old and on his way to becoming the world's greatest golfer of his time, he used to pretend that he was playing in national tournaments. He would even pretend to be the sports commentator announcing that the champion, Arnold Palmer, was now getting ready to tee off. You can take a great many strokes off your golf game simply by pretending you're playing in a great tournament, and that every time you swing or putt, you're surrounded by a large gallery and the television cameras. You'll find that you take more time, line up your shots better, and swing more like the pros and less like the duffers. If you can get a mental image of the person you would most like to become, begin now to act as that person would act in everything you do. Gradually, imperceptibly, you will actually become that person. It goes back to what the great German poet and philosopher Goethe once said. Before you can do something, you must first be something. Before you can do what you would most like to do, you must first become the person who can do it. A woman cooking dinner has only to act like a great chef to turn out a better meal. The student who begins to act like a top student will begin to get better grades. You can even look much better by simply acting like the person you would most like to look like and be like. The secret is to get and hold fast in your mind the mental image of the person you would most like to be. Then in every situation, you act and talk as you feel that person would. You make the kind of decisions you think that person would. This is the way to constantly grow into a better, more effective person. You immediately begin to act with more confidence, and confidence is the first step to accomplishment. As your accomplishments begin to grow, which they most certainly will, real confidence slowly takes the place of the part you've been playing. Now, your life will not be transformed overnight. There'll be no sudden miracles, perhaps, but steadily, day by day, you'll grow into the image you hold in your mind. If you doubt this, try it for 30 days and watch what happens. You've got nothing to lose. The time is going to pass anyway. Why not put it to work, becoming the person you most want to become? It's the trick of the experts in every field.
Okay, so super short, but really good. And it's what we call what Bob would refer to as the actor's technique. I'm going to just switch something over here real quick. There. So act as the person that you wish to become. Earl said a couple things in there, and we're gonna, to illustrate it, we're gonna go to the stick person. So we can kind of just go over this. There we go. Get the right screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what happens here? We have, let me get the tools up. All right, so what Earl was saying is, if we hold that image, we will start to be that person eventually. And he said, we act like that person. So what causes our behaviors and our actions? So if remember here, this we have as a conscious mind. We can also refer to this as our thinking mind. This, the subconscious mind. This is the feeling mind. And then our body then sets up the actions. We'll go over here, which then produced, our results. Okay, so the feeling causes the vibration in the body, which causes the behavior and the actions. So what he's saying is, as we act like that person, our thoughts cause feelings. Actions also cause feelings. So when we start to act like the person we want to become, first what we have to do is we have to build an image of that person in our conscious mind. And then we impress that image into the subconscious mind. And as we start to feel as that person would feel, we start to act as that person would act. That's going to then amplify those feelings, okay? Which the more we act like that person, as Earl said, hold that image in your mind. Hold it in our mind. The more we hold this in our mind and we impress it in here and get emotionally involved in it, we internalize it, we add emotion to it, we start to feel like that person. As Earl said, it's just a matter of time before we become that person. So the key is not to look at outside. We want to look inside. We want to build this image here and continually impress it onto our subconscious. And as we act, we're reinforcing that image because that's our feeling. We start to feel good. We start to act, think, talk, walk, dress. We actually then become that person, because the person that we want to become is not the person that we are right now. So we have to look at, if we're going after this goal here, we're going after this goal. All right. Right now, you are not the person that's going to reach that goal. This goal, let's just move this out of the way. So our goal is up here. Okay. And if we look at all of these, here are those levels of vibration that we talked about earlier. Okay. If we're down here, this is where our current results are at. This is the person we want to become. This is the goal that we want to reach. The person that is going to be having this goal, whatever it may be, is not the same person that's down here. So as we start to act like that person, we hold that image in here, we start to feel and do all of those things. What we're doing is we're starting to think along the lines and the vibrations that are much higher than what we are. And as we do that, we start to move up in vibration to where eventually, as we're being that person, we're in the same vibration as our goal, because our goal and what we want has its own vibration, and it's higher than we are right now. So the thinking that we've been thinking on this level is not going to get us up here. The thoughts up here are much higher. So as Earl said, start to do that. And like he said, try it for 30 days. Earl was really good with all of the things he had. Is give it a shot for 30 days. 30 days is not a long time. I'm doing these lives. I'm doing 100 days. I'm getting past certain barriers because the person, if I go back here again, the person that I'm striving for and that the goals I'm going towards, it's the same deal, right? It's up here. They're up here. So I have to start doing the things right now, which is why one of the reasons why I'm doing these lives. I do them because it's my study, but it's also getting me past my comfort zones, because the person that is up here is doing lives on a regular basis. They're not just studying, they're actually doing lives and doing the things up here, right? So I've got to start doing those things, and more thoughts start coming to me as I am moving towards this goal. But I have an image in here. So I'm doing all of the things that Earl is suggesting. And I gave myself a challenge of 100 days to do it, because then it forced me to take those actions. I start acting like that person. Now, have I got it all figured out? No, but I'm figuring out as I go, because so often, and in the past, this has been me, is that I try to figure everything out before you start to move. And then what happens is you don't move and you waste time. And then a year goes by, and another year, and then another year. And before you know it, you're like, holy crap, I've wasted 5 years. Start to move. Create the image of what you want. Even if it's not crystal clear at this point, we all have something that we want. So pick something, write it down on a card. Write it down on a card and start moving in that direction. I remember Bob he had in one of the programs, he had a quote that he said that, I think it was the Puritans or one of those groups, but they said they had a saying, and it was pray and move your feet. Prayer is us talking with God. It's us putting that image out. It's not just, like Bob used to say, getting on our knees and making a noise. That he said that's getting on your knees and making a noise. Prayer is when we create an image, we put that in our subconscious mind, we turn it over to universal intelligence, we take this power that is flowing to and through us, we use that to form the image of what we want, and then we start to move in that direction. Most people get it so wrong. They, especially with like the law of attraction. The law of attraction, especially The Secret, was really good. It was fantastic for Bob. It brought awareness to a lot of people, but on there it had a formula: ask, believe, and receive. Where's the action? There's no action in that formula. You can't just ask for $10,000, believe you're going to get it, and it's just going to show up without doing anything. We've got to create that action, which causes the reaction, which is the attraction, and then we end up getting it. So the action needs to be taken, but it needs to be action that has intent behind it and is an effective action, as Wallace Wattles puts it in The Science of Getting Rich. Efficient action. He says in here, You must begin to do what you can do where you are, and you must do all the things that you can do where you are. You can only advance by being larger than your present place. That's what Earl is talking about, right? That's what we're so you build that image. Like I said, you don't have to know everything. You start with what you have. You have the image, you just start moving. And as you move, everything that you need is going to start to show up in its place. And as Bob says, we have to have that faith. We have to believe, because some of the things that we can't see, because we're so used to using our physical senses, we can't see. But if we have the belief that we can do it and the faith, they will show up at the time that we need them. And we just have to have that faith that they're going to show up. So what do? We just keep moving. Begin to do what you can do where you are. Where are you with what your present resources are? And as we start to build that image and we start to act like the person that we want to become, then we become larger than our present place, which is what Waddles is talking about. So I hope you got value out of that. I've got another one of Earl tomorrow. I love those old ones of Earl. And he has such good information. I mean, it was quick, but he had so powerful. So take that for 30 days. Think of the person you want to become and then reverse engineer it and say, okay, how would that person do? What time would that person get up? What habits would that person have? How would they talk? How would they converse with other people? How would they think? You know, when something happens to you during your day, think, how would that person, how would the me already have achieved my goal, the wish fulfilled? How would he respond to this? How would she respond to this right now? And then start to do those things. So that's all I've got for today. Should have put this on earlier, but this is the Daily Dose of Mind Stuff. My name is Ed Reiner. I will see you guys tomorrow. Should be around the same time, between 8:30 is what I'm shooting for. So for now, you guys have a great and wonderful rest of the day. Build that image, go after your goal, start moving, and start acting like the person that you wish to become. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Ed Reiner, peace. God bless. We'll see you later.